Welcome to another photo review video. Today I got about 20 images that you guys sent to the email that's here in the video description, and I'm gonna give you a quick photo critique. I'm taking some advice from you guys, and yes, I'm gonna be a little bit more to the point and less fluffy with this scoring, if that makes sense. Critiquing photography could be very broad. This photo critique is going to be guided more towards stock photography, if that makes sense. It's going to help you understand a little bit more about the art and the game of stock photography and how to generate more sales. So with that in mind, let's get this critique started. The first photo here is from Greg. Greg, thanks for sending this photo. It's a beautiful flat lay, looking down at the image. Looks great. I do have a couple things to say, but let's look at the camera settings first. Somehow they did not translate into email, but I do have them on his Instagram. So it was 50 millimeters, f5, 100 of a second, using an external light. It's a Westcott at 4 power. If you look at flat lays are great for stock photography. The food here looks very good, but I feel it needs a little bit more light. If you look at the left-hand side and the right-hand side, there's a little bit of missing light. This could be because the light is too close, and remember, every time you double the distance of your light, you get a quarter of that power. So if the light is too close, it's gonna be very bright here and less bright over there. If we move the light further out, it's gonna travel, it's gonna lose that light in less quantity, if I'm making any sense. If you look at the behind the scenes, Greg posted it on his Instagram, he's got a whiteboard reflecting that light. And it is helping, but it's not enough. You almost need 2 lights, or move that light further out so that the light comes in and it's even throughout the scene. The one thing I'm gonna critique here about the composition and where the food is, I do understand that Greg was doing this as a magazine spread. So when you open the page, you got the 2 things, but there's a bit too much room in between everything. When you're doing a flat lay, you wanna put all the ingredients together. That way they don't, you can see that there's space separating everything, and it's not as it could be. When you're looking at food eye level, they overlap. So like the coffee will overlap with the croissants and all that. So it looks very bunched up together, like you're looking at a table. When you change your perspective, there's empty space. And something like this, in my opinion, will look better if it's all tight. Even on a spread, get a little closer with the lens, bring it down a little bit, push everything back together. The fog there looks amazing. I mean, the focus, everything's on point, and that's why I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. But I do believe that you could enhance it or improve it by pushing everything together and adding a second light or moving your other light just a few feet away. So thank you very much, Greg. That's a great shot. Let's go on to the next photo. Okay, now we have this rose. It looks pretty good. Great focus, great shot. It's got those 2 lines in the front. I'm not sure whether it's kind of framing, but because they're brighter, they're a little distracting. I don't have any camera info. I don't know why why there's no camera info. So this is through a cage, through a fence or something, which is why you have that light. It's fine. I'm gonna say 2 out of 5 because the subject's right in the middle. Remember, for stock, you wanna put things in a corner or something just so you have text space. This one right in the middle, composition is fine, but I think something like that might be a little better. Roses are also a saturated market. If you look for flowers, there's millions of photos online. So I don't know that this would be a good seller, but the focus, the camera settings, as far as I can tell, they're spot on. It's just that as a stock photo, I don't see that sellability here. But good job, 2 out of 5. Let's move on to the next image. Next, we have a whole bunch of mangoes on a table. You can tell right away that the lighting up here is way overblown. That's way too much light. There's no detail. That's not gonna get accepted. That's gonna be rejected for technical issues. The focus, it might even be motion blur. I can't tell. I think it's motion blurred. It almost looks like a cell phone photo, but there's no data. Let me look and see what I have here. Unknown camera, unknown lens, 37 megabytes. I don't think it's gonna get accepted. I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5. The lighting is too harsh. You need a diffuser. You need something to soften that light. When you got all this information here burnt out, there's no detail, and it looks motion blurred. Whether it is, yeah, it is. It's not gonna get accepted. So this photo, lighting was tough. You're not gonna get a good photo no matter what you use in this particular situation. So 1 out of 5. Let's go on to the next photo. This one looks very pretty, very detailed architecture. It's a very small file, probably for the email. Yeah, it's under 1 megabyte, so I really can't get into detail. Here you're leading out of the photo. If you're leading right to the center, in this case, especially in black and white, I believe it will do a little bit better. But it's a good photo. I'm gonna say 3 out of 5. Unfortunately, I don't have the details to examine the focus and everything else. Again, when you have leading lines leading to a point, this one's leading out, it's not balanced, and that's why I'm saying 3 out of 5. If you look at all the pillars, the shapes underneath, and at the base, you could have all of the lines leading towards the middle. And I think that would be way stronger and create an image that would be more sellable. But good job on this one. Let's go on to the next one. All right, see, this is the type of stuff I like, especially for stock. The whiskey, the pipe, this looks very well done. It looks very good. Focus is spot on. It's enough depth of field. I don't have the camera or the lens or the camera settings, but the depth of field here is great. There might be a little bit of noise, so using noise reduction, you can see here there's texture, there's things in the background that probably should not be there. But I'm gonna say 4 out of 5. Just adding noise reduction in Lightroom will really help you make this photo pop. The other thing I would do is crop it square or get closer. You don't need all the negative space on top. I know I said yes before. If you bring it down, your photo is gonna pop more in a grid, making it easier to find. Otherwise, you're just gonna see a whole bunch of gray and not so much of what's in it when you're looking at 100 photos in a small grid. But very nice job with this one, 4 out of 5, but good job here. Huh, why is there a white bar here on the side? It's kind of strange. Anyway, nice job. Let's move on to the next image. Come on, somehow my fingers aren't working. I feel very comfortable on this chair. I think I might be using this one from now on. Okay, now we have coffee with a wooden spoon looking thing. It's a good photo. The coffee is focused. Look at these little hairs in the coffee. When you do macro, pay attention to all the details, because when you zoom in at 100%, you're gonna find all these things, and this is gonna get that photo rejected. And if it doesn't get rejected, no one's gonna buy it, or they're gonna return it. I've had photos returned because of things like this. That, you know, they don't wanna go through trouble of fixing it. If they're buying a photo, they want it to be perfect. In this case, I'm going to say, let's say 3 out of 5. It would be better without the spoon, because that spoon is distracting. That metal scoop thing is very bright, and your eyes are always gonna go to the brightest part of the image. And here you got beautiful coffee. If that was the image, I think I would have given it a 5 out of 5. But because you have this thing here, your eye goes away and it's not fully in the image, so you don't know what it is. It's just a piece of wood there that's very bright. So 3 out of 5 on this one. Good job with the focus, the camera settings, everything else looked good, but pay attention to the elements and how you're including those in the image. If it was just a spoon on white with coffee on it, on a scoop, that would be different, but try to include a scoop without showing it what it is, takes away from your photo. This one, perfect, great image, a person, a pen, writing. If anything, the focus, I would have wanted it where the pen is, but if this is a self-portrait, that is incredibly difficult to do. Maybe pre-focus where you want it, and then in that case, you need the book on a table. Anyway, good job. Maybe this corner here is a little bit of brightness. You could fill that in just so it doesn't bring your eye down there. But the rest looks very, very good. Just as a tip, books and things like this were selling 10 years ago. They still sell today, but not as much as something digital. So if you have a tablet with whatever, what do you call those pens for tablets? You know what I mean. Use something like that, make it more modern so you can start selling modern images. I know tablets are older, but they're not as old as this. We still don't have like whatever pop-up holographic notebooks or stuff like that. So using something like this is also gonna get you more sales, or at least more images that can generate more sales. Using a phone with a little stylus, that's what it is. Using a stylus, that will help you expand your portfolio from pens to white paper, color paper, pads, whatever else you have, you can add that to your portfolio as well. Great image. In this case, I'm gonna say 4 out of 5. And the only reason for that is the focus. I feel it would have been way stronger if you can see what he's writing or where the pen is, so that they could add text. An editor could add text if it needed to, but I don't see anything wrong with the photo. Just I would have preferred to focus in a different spot. Somehow my fingers aren't tracking today. All right, next. Okay, here we got a race 42K. That's a lot of running. This guy's coming into 10K. It looks great. Good editorial photo. Now remember, editorials are about information. So you would need the caption with the guy's name, what place he came in. The more information you have, the better. In this case, I'm gonna say 3 out of 5. It's a good image, but you want to see people's faces, how they react. As an editorial image, showing more of the crowd cheering, runner number, whatever number he was, coming in at 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 31 minutes with 50 seconds, whatever place he was in, that would be great. But show the crowds, everyone looks happy, taking photos, clapping. That would make it a better editorial image and have more chances of that selling. As it is, 3 out of 5, good job. But remember, when you're including people, include the people, tell the complete story. That's what makes an editorial image. Next. Okay, that's a great photo shoot. Dad holding the baby upside down. That looks great. If anything, the lighting, it looks a little bit bright on the one side, but I don't know that that's gonna be enough to get that photo rejected. It looks very good. The focus is spot on. Let me look at motion blur. I don't see any blur, which is great. Nice job on this one. I'm struggling to find anything wrong. Like I said, maybe the lighting, I'm gonna say 5 out of 5. The concept. One thing I don't like to do is cut people's appendages right at the kneecaps or elbows or wrists, or cut the fingers from an image. You wanna leave a little bit more. Maybe bring the camera down a little bit. Right at the knee, it's a big no-no for a lot of people. I've just heard that over and over, and it's drilled into my head. And the lighting, still I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. It's a great stock concept. Father and daughter having fun, this is great. The only thing, just use a gradient maybe from the right to the left and bring down the exposure a little bit so that it is not so much brighter on one side compared to the other. That's actually gonna drop it a 4 out of 5. Great concept, great image, but the lighting, just bring it down a little bit on the side. Next. All right, here we have mangoes again. These look way better. The shadow, there is a bit of a spotlight on them, the direct light. Adding, I think it has a diffuser, so maybe moving the light away so it's not as harsh. Remember, inverse square law, the further away the light goes, the less intensity you receive on your subject. But this is great, good stock image. You got a little bit of negative space. If you put the mangoes on the bottom corner like this, maybe, now you have this stuff. It's a very good image, composition. And again, the mangoes are in the middle. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5, just because it could be in a corner. I know I'm being a little bit harsher this time, but based on feedback, I'm gonna try to do better for you guys. So if you put it, because you want to sell photos, right? That's what I'm trying to hear. That's what I'm here to do, is trying to help you sell more photos and understand this stock thing. So there's multiple ways we could go here. You could fill the frame with the mangoes and the leaf. I think that would be an absolute great image. Or we could put it here in a corner like that. So the mangoes are in the bottom third here, and you have all that negative space leading towards the mangoes where you can add text and do whatever. So you can get multiple images from the same set. This particular image, I'm gonna say 4 out of 5 because it's right in the middle. It looks great, middle this way. I know it's to the side, but it's still in the middle. And you do have the negative space, which again, it's great, 4 out of 5. Play with the compositions, move the light so you don't have this blown out areas here. I don't think there's any detail here. And then inside there's a little bit of noise, which again, I'm zoomed in at like 500%, which is why I see that noise. This says ISO 320, and again, noise is always gonna show up in the darker areas, so that would help a lot there. Anyway, next photo. Okay, very simple vineyard, it looks good. As far as a photograph, it's not artistic, but it is a very good stock photo. I sell images very similar to this. Middle of the day, it's clouds, it's leading up. If anything, bring the camera down so you can show more of the grass and have a more out of focus area leading into it. Because you have a lot of sky, but there's not much happening in the sky. They got that little cloud up there that's a little distracting. So if you just bring it down slightly, you would have more blur in the foreground leading into this little hut thing up there. Good image. I'm actually gonna say 4 out of 5, and it's only because of the composition. Most people see vineyards this time of day. You don't see them at sunrise or sunset. Those are more prints, they're more artistic photos. As far as that stock photo, something you would see in a magazine, somebody talking about this is the type of photo you would see. Believe it or not, harsh conditions like this do sell often for stock photos. All right, so again, only the composition. I don't know why my fingers are not tracking. Next, now we got a little bird on the vineyard. Same camera, Fuji X-T5, 7.1, 320 at 1,000 of a second. In this case, I would say yes, 1,000 of a second. The bird moved very fast and you wanna make sure it's a clear shot. It is clear, but it's too far away. When you're doing wildlife and things like this, I know you're telling the story, it's on the wire here, but something closer like that might be a little bit better, leaving a little space to one side, the bird leading in. In this case, I'm gonna say 2 out of 5, because if I see this in a grid, I'm not gonna know what it is, and I'm not gonna go for the bird because you're not showing the bird. That's why wildlife photography is so expensive. The lenses you need for the reach are very long and very expensive, and they do make a big difference. It's just a little bit too small, too far away to be a sellable photo. Every photo of animals and birds that I sell, it's with a 400mm, a cheaper 400mm, and really literally like a portrait of the bird, that you can see the feathers and you can see what it's doing. I do get them in action doing different things, but like this, I fear it's a little bit too far away and you don't see the face, the eyes are the connection with the camera. So I don't know that this is gonna perform that well for stock. It is a nice capture, but for stock, I'm not seeing it. Try it anyway, I might be wrong. Next, okay, this was interesting. This is a lemon tree. You can see how it's props. They're not real lemons. The lemon down here has a few spots where it needs to be filled in. So you need to fix that. There's a little bit of noise in the bottom, a lot of noise actually. And the isolation in white is great. The image is very well done. I just apologize because I haven't seen these photos for a long time. Every time I receive an image, I try to respond via email, and then when I make the video, I go a little bit more in depth. But I believe this was the first photo I got, and you can see that the lemons have issues here, that needs to be fixed. And I told the photographer it's a little blown out, it needs more contrast, it needs to pop a little bit more. So he sent me this one, which looks way better. Look at the color difference, look at the leaves, look at the lemons, how they pop, and they're a little bit better. So this photo's composition spot on. I don't isolate it on white. It could be in the middle. This one could be right in the middle. There's no issues there. The lemon tree like this, we know it's fake, but it's a good concept. The other thing I asked the photographer was to add money, add something to make it a concept. A money tree instead of a lemon tree, or both, a money and lemons. This guy gives you lemonade, or lemons, make lemonade, and make some money with the lemons. That's a good concept. So he did this one, which looks pretty good. It still needs contrast. Adding a little contrast will make everything pop. I think something like this would be a good stock photo. It's a good concept. Things like this are gonna get you thinking as to how to generate more images. So if you have props, play with them, really. Just think of what you could add to it to make it a sellable photo. Cut a lemon in half and put it there. Put a glass of lemonade next to the lemonade tree with some money. All of these are ideas that the more you think about how someone can use the photo, the more images you're gonna generate and the more chances of selling you're going to have. For this concept, the idea, the photos, I'm gonna say 3 out of 5 because again, the lemons have spots that need fixing and it needs contrast, it needs to pop a little bit more. Great job. I just think it could improve a little bit and just keep doing more. I love seeing this. From one advice, you send me more as to how you're doing, and I really do like seeing that. The next photo, we got these figurines. These sell just not that much, and in this case, we can see a little bit of noise in the background. Let me look at camera settings. Oh, I hate that I don't have that unknown camera settings, but you can see there's quite a bit of noise back here. The focus is very shallow. It's in this one here. It might even get rejected because of that noise. If I had the ISO, I could see if it was because of that. It's culture images. What I've noticed with figurines like this is when I try to get that depth of field, they don't get accepted, especially in dark situations like this. If you change the camera and shoot them head on so you can see the details, see the faces, see everything, they tend to be more sellable photos. I have some like this that I took in Belize, and there was monkeys doing the monkey, you know, the speak no evil, see no evil, do no evil. And those images sell quite a bit, but again, they're straight on. I do have a couple with depth because I did something like that, but the ones that sell the most are on a flat, straight on from the camera. The composition could improve by bringing the camera down, looking straight at the same eye level, I'm gonna say, instead of shooting up, down. Because then that would lead to all the faces and not down into the ground. The line here kind of helps, and all the two lines go together, but I think it would be stronger if you shoot them straight head on or at eye level and on an angle like this. Next. All right, now we have a very artistic image, and I think this would perform very well for stock. The only thing I see here is that the background's a little bit brighter. If you could bring down the exposure around the upper part of the plate, I think it will improve this image a lot. Great job, f8, 200 ISO, 80th of a second. Beautiful photo, very artistic, and I think this would be a very good stock photo as well. But like I said, bring down the black on the upper part of the image, and I believe it would improve it a little bit. 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 is a great shot. Let me know how you do if you do upload this for stock, because I really like it. Next. All right, now we have, okay, these are abstracts. This is not gonna get accepted for stock. As far as an image, this is more out of my realm. This is artistic, abstract stuff. It looks fine. Like I said, it's not a stock photo, so as far as stock goes, it's not gonna get accepted because of the maybe as a background, if you write abstract background. From my perspective, in this review, I'm gonna say a 2 out of 5. Someone that's more artistic, want things printed and have something to display, they might give you a 5 out of 5. But for stock, I just don't see a concept. I don't see a background maybe, but it's not sharp, so I can't really go into that with this one. Again, my fingers. Next. All right, so now we have a leaf with footprints and sunshine. It looks pretty good. Focus is over here where that bright spot is. I almost thought the focus was up here where it's brighter. Remember, your eyes go to the brightest part of the image. Even though there's sunshine here, you can see how back there it's just a little bit brighter, and that's where I was expecting the focus. Camera settings, f4.5, 1/60th of a second, ISO 100. It's a good photo, 3 out of 5. As far as stock, it's fine. They're just not really a concept for selling it. If you're going for something more artistic, maybe try removing the footprints, making the sand even, unless that's part of your concept. This thing here, I mean, yeah, it just leaves and stuff. I sell some photos like this. They don't sell a lot. As an artistic photo, it has potential. I just don't like the footprints right here. Clean images, even when they're natural, clean images look better. We go out and shoot, and then we spend hours cleaning things so that they look natural, if that makes any sense. Natural looking things most people don't like. We clean them up, we set them up, and then that's what we like. That's most of the images that we see out there are setups, not just something that happened and we took a photo. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in today. But again, back to this photo, the lighting and the focus over there is just a little distracting, and the footprint, so 3 out of 5. Next, all right, New American Bible, Revised Edition. Good photo. As far as the stock photo, it's great. I'm gonna say 4 out of 5, and that's just because this side, the left side of the Bible and the beads are very dark. If you had the light coming from that side, I think it would improve the image. Not difficult, but you can see how this side is a little bit too dark. You have the shadow leading that way. If the beads are part of the image, you want the light on those beads. The shadow on the white would be better than on this side. That's it. 4 out of 5. The rest looks very good. The focus, there's a little bit of noise there, but again, that just could be the printing on the Bible because it's a 100 ISO. So I think that just might be the printing on the page and not actual noise. But see all these scuffs here? If you clean those up, I think it would give it more of a chance of selling. Just take a little bit of time with Lightroom and clean up all those spots. But nice job with this one. The next photo we have is the boats and seagull. It looks a little overexposed. ISO 200, 6/40th of a second at f8. It looks pretty good. I mean, the seagull is fast. Trying to capture that is very difficult. It is a little overexposed. Dragon Ball. Kakaroto. That brings back some memories. The image, horizon straight, is busy. That would have to be an editorial image because you got every boat's name there. If you can remove those, I think it would be better. 3 out of 5. If you bring down the exposure a little bit, it will make it more natural looking and not so bright. These types of photos are not that sellable unless somebody might want to use it as an editorial for this particular fishing village, because they're all small and fishing boats, they're all here. So yeah, that might be a good selling point. All right, so here we got a little village in the mountains. The composition's on point. I love all the lines. You can see how the fence and the mountain up top have the same lines. 2 of the mountains up top have the same lines. So compositionally, it's great. Camera settings are great at f8, good depth of field. Mountains on focus, you're using ISO 200, so there's not gonna be any noise. Is that a person? Nope, that's just something up there. 250th of a second. This one I really like. I'm gonna say 5 out of 5 on this one. There's nothing wrong with the photo. The lines are perfect. Maybe a little bit of contrast to make it pop, but this looks very natural. This looks beautiful. It looks like a very nice place to be right now. A little bit of snow, not as hot. You got mountains, quiet, peace, fireplace, perfect. Stuff like this might not sell that much, but it is a very good photo to have to your portfolio. And if you could do a whole bunch from this area, like a series of photos from this place, that will help you generate more and more sales. Different angles, different places, inside, outside. Like if you could do 100 photos with this cabin, then you're way ahead of the game. And you'll be surprised at what sells. But this particular photo, I love the composition, I love the lines, I love the edit, it looks beautiful. Like the only thing is that the sellability might not be there, but as a photo, I love it. 5 out of 5. And that is the last photo of the day. So thank you very much. I hope this review was helpful. I'm trying to speed it up and be a little bit more specific to stock instead of being generic and giving random numbers that might not help you if you're trying to sell photos. If you send images and you want me to review it just as a photo, let me know, and I'll try to remember by the time I get to the image. Remember, if you're trying to send photos, there's an email down in the video description. Please only send 1 or 2 because I'm about 3 months behind and I want to get to everyone. I want to make one of these videos every month, but I really do want to get through all the photos. One day we will. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.